is John Moss III. I've been charged and convicted of triple murder that I did not commit. I've been here in the state of West Virginia for over 38 years now, fighting in proving my innocence.
Those pictures were a simple probably really more like 1960s living room, bathroom in a small cottage with a Christmas tree and a door open and a little kid hanging from the door like you hang an ornament. And another kid somewhere else, and then all the Christmas presents ripped open. And the juxtaposition of all those images and that little kid hanging from the door is not something you really want to spend a lot of time with. So yeah, haunting is the right word.
Of course, everybody knows that Paul Reggettz, the father and husband, had confessed to the homicides. One of the kids was drowned. One of them was hung from a door, right? Well, according to Paul Reggett's confession, one liked to swim and one liked to swing. He didn't want a family. Told his wife that. And, as if to say, why don't you hit the road, And she was thinking about it.
The math you do is what do you have? What is the evidence? And is it enough to take to a jury and let them decide what happens here? Marc was a very aggressive prosecutor. Sometimes you didn't always understand what he was doing.
When I first met him, it was in '80, and they questioned me about it. And I told them I didn't know anything about these murders. Only thing that I knew was what I seen on TV. But when we was on our way back to West Virginia, we went over different things that were supposed to happen at the house. And when I didn't get something right, Mike Smith, he would hit me in the midsection. When I told him that I had a lawyer, his name and number is in my Bible in my back pocket. Smith, he took the Bible out of my back pocket and slammed it against the back seat of the car. Told me I didn't need a lawyer. So once we got to Parkersburg, they was taking me out of the car, and Mike Smith, he hit me in between the legs, and I go down.
The state trooper there in Parkersburg had a reputation for being straightforward. If you were alone with him in a room, you might be a little intimidated.
Do you know which trooper that was?
Yes.
Is it Mike Smith?
Yes.
Jerry Williams, he come in there and he was asking me questions about the crime scene. This is stuff that we had went over in the car. And whenever I mess up or I couldn't remember something, Mike Smith would come in there and slap me around a little bit. And that's when I told him I didn't do it. I told you I didn't do it. And he said, you know you done it, John. You know you done it.
More telling, really, is that the investigators don't press him to be specific when he gives vague answers. And this is very strange because this push to get people to recount the details of the crime, which makes sense. If you're the one who did the crime, you should know the details of it, details that only the police know about, right? Otherwise, you could be somebody pretending to do it for whatever reason, or you're probably not the person who did it. But repeatedly, they let him be vague and they don't press him. Very, very tellingly, we see the police scripting, providing details to John that he does not introduce into the interrogation event. The reader comes away with a feeling that John provided a lot more details than he actually did. The details were provided by the police, and this is evidence contamination, just like contamination of DNA evidence, of blood evidence, of any other kind of evidence.
The chief serologist at the time, chief DNA guy, Zain, was involved with approximately 140 cases, and John Moss III was one of the cases.
In Texas and West Virginia, a medical expert is accused of botching lab tests, which were used to send innocent people to jail.
The West Virginia Supreme Court has charged Zain with misrepresenting the evidence in 134 rape and murder cases.
They demonstrated that he was, quote unquote, dry labbing. That is, he wasn't even doing the tests, but he would come in and give results.
Well, you can't believe anything Fred Zain said, okay? I mean, as a practical matter.
Was the testimony presented by Fred Zain prejudicial? And it absolutely was. It was the evidence that distinguished between the confessions given by Mr. Reggettz and by Mr. Moss. So it was the deciding factor in John's trial.
Most of the guys, including myself, never got an opportunity to get a hearing, and then if they got a hearing, the hearing didn't result to anything. Out of 140 plus litigants, I believe 5 litigants got relief.
In this particular case, the court simply did not apply the standard. The trial judge never applied the standard. I do think it was an unfair result.
This letter is in full support of parole for John Moss III. 38 years in prison. That fact amazes and saddens me every time I think about it. John is one of the most genuine and thoughtful people I know, and has opened up to me in many long talks about his life, about what he would do with his life if given another chance. He told me of how he would love to go home and reunite with his family after so long. He is one of the most influential people that I've been fortunate enough to come across in my life. That is no exaggeration. John has been a brother and a counselor to me since the day I met him. I truly believe that he, before almost anyone, deserves a chance to reclaim his life and make something remarkably positive out of it. I could go on for 10 or 100 more pages about how deserving John is for the opportunity to live again in a community that will be better for his presence. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you can count on him to continue if given the chance to come home to his family. Please consider releasing John Moss III. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Brian Ferguson.
Man, it's time to go home.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's been time to go home.
Yeah, we are working on that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I profess my innocence. They won't even give me a chance in life. I will continue to fight until the day I die. I will never give up.